Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Skip Barber Monday Lights, round 1, coming to you live tonight from Lime Rock. As you can see, the guys are out in their qualification, but as always, I've got Alex the Iceman McKellar right next to me here, or is it Golden Tonsils McKellar? I'm not quite sure.
G'day Bertie, g'day everyone. Welcome back to season 10 of Monday Night Lights. This is where we began as a dynamic duo, Bernie. Our first race was here at Lime Rock Park a few seasons ago, but plenty of action expected here again tonight as we kick off the season. Once again, drawing in a fantastic field, second highest strength of field of the week yet again, Bernie, to kick us off at 3,490. Plenty of old names and new familiar faces and young guns trying to make a name for themselves, Bernie. Looking forward to a great race.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely awesome, isn't it? And we had 5 splits, I think, didn't we, of 20 in each?
Yeah, near enough too. We might have just had 80 drivers, so it might have just been the 4. These races are official and they split in this category at 20 drivers, so we've got a full field, a full grid of 20 drivers here, a fantastic lineup headed up by Dennis Johansson and Enzo Cantor. Enzo Cantor returning from a season off with new equipment and other things in life. Surprisingly, car number 2, pipped by Dennis Johansson, who's been doing fantastic things in the Skip Barbers lately. So once again, a fantastic field and a great race ahead of us.
Yeah, it certainly is, and we're looking at the moment down at Mick Gray. He's just completing his qualifying lap now, and where did he slot in? About 17th. I also must apologise to all the viewers. We were a bit late tonight, weren't we, Alex, because the servers are a bit slow coming up.
Yeah, well, thankfully we didn't suffer from what we had last season, where a couple of the servers didn't even spawn for the second and third split. We were lucky it didn't happen to us in the top split, of course, but tonight, there was a bit of a delay, at least for the spectator sessions. The drivers seemed to get in okay. I had a quick chat to them, but thankfully we'll have some on-track action to keep us entertained.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very good. I'm just getting our volume adjusted and making sure the cars aren't too loud for us all, otherwise I can't hear your dulcet, soothing tones.
You're not going to let that one go, are you?
No, I'm never going to let that one go, don't you worry.
That was good fun anyway. 3.5 minutes left in quali. A few of the guys out there, most of them seem to have set times, perhaps just Alex John and Jason Willman looking to set times as the clock continues to count down.
Yeah, it's as you said, they've all done their full laps there. Jason Willman hasn't. He's not even in the car, so if he's running tonight, he's going to be starting from 20th. And I'll tell you what, starting from 20th in a field like this, first race of the season, it could be rather interesting, couldn't it?
It could be very interesting. A lot of the guys here tonight will have put in a lot of laps during the week, of course. Jason in quite a striking pink and black livery there, Bernie. He's quite often known when he gets in these big races to just start up at the back and make his way forward from there. Get some quite good results, I should say, with a bit of patience and avoiding some of the early laps and some of the carnage that can bring, Bernie.
Yeah, and did you have a look in the chat room there? We've got Mr. Fiedler joining us tonight. You can ask him why he's not running.
Yeah, I know Dennis has actually got work commitments that'll keep him a bit less active this season, so it's great that he's been able to join us here to take part, at least in the conversation, if not the on-track action itself, Bernie.
Yeah, definitely. It's always great fun in the chat room there, and you can see now Dennis Johansson coming through. He's streaming tonight on Twitch, isn't he? So how do the viewers find him? Because I don't have his address here.
No, that's all right. If you're interested in watching a first-hand perspective from one of the very top Skippy drivers going around, head over to Twitch TV. The channel name is Race Driver 77. If you like me and you got multiple monitors, it's a great thing to have us both going at the same time to get a couple of different perspectives.
Yeah, definitely. Don't tune out on us, though. Make sure you keep us going. But, qualifying's taken a bit of time. I can see Luke Whitten out here. He's qualified 14th at the moment, and he's done his 2 qualifying laps. So he's going to have quite a a bit of work ahead. There's also another person I haven't heard of before, Ian Lakes, joining us, as well as Pep Mayer. I haven't heard of those two, so welcome to the series, guys.
Yeah, I've done a bit of racing with Pep at different times, different seasons and tracks. He's pretty competitive. Interesting, as you say, that Luke's so far down. I don't know how much time Luke's had to race this week. He had a poor quality last race too, the one leading into this. He managed to work his way back fairly well, all things considered, but in a tight field like this, he's 7/10 off pole, which is quite a margin at this track, it has to be said. So it'll be interesting to see how well he makes his way through the field, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly will. And Dennis down there in 8th as well. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, Dennis Johansson.
Yeah.
That's very unlike him. He recently cracked 7,000 iRating. For those of you at home that don't know, iRating is the measure of the skill of each driver based on their results. And Dennis, I tell you what, he can win some races, young Mr. Johansson. And to hit 7,000 iRating puts him right up in the top drivers, amongst the top drivers in the world in all categories. So very surprising to see him in his most favoured car way back in 8th, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly is. But let's have a look at our grid, because the guys will be queuing up very shortly. So Enzo Cantor from Italy, he takes pole position tonight. Great to see Enzo back to join us. Tim Gaukridger will start out of second, but Martinovic, third. Fourth is Vince Browning. Starting out of fifth tonight is Kevin Henderson, and Timu Vascalampi will start next to him in sixth. Out of seventh, Ian Lake, with Dennis Johansson starting next to him. Out of ninth tonight will be Darryl Ridley. Then we've got Hakon Grebstad back from Scandinavia, starting from 10th. Russell Clark will start out of 11th, and Matthew Willett will start out of 12th. Out of 13th tonight is Johan from France. Then we have 14th Luke Whitten, Carlos Sorrentes from Iberia in 15th, and his fellow countryman Pep Mayer beside him. Luke Page 17th, 18th McRae, 19th Alex and Jason, and here we go.
Well, what a start, eh? We're getting right into it. A lot of tongue twisters there as they're off now. Green lights and away. Everyone pulling over to the right-hand side, Bernie, wanting to grab the inside line into the first couple of corners, defend what position they can and see what they can make. A few of them pulling out to the outside. Can they get through cleanly, Bernie?
Yeah, it's looking like a nice clean start. We've gone to the wide view for the start, some too wide, further back in the field, but they're keeping it nice and clean, and we can see at the moment, let me update my telemetry, Enzo Cantor is leading Tim Gaukridger, Martinovic in third, fourth Vince Browning, then Kevin Henderson rounds out our top five.
Big accident, Bernie, as they headed through turn 4. Russell Clark going too wide with car 15 in Johan, and Johan's just got up the inside of him. Actually, he's really got into the back of the back wheel there after going too wide with another driver through the previous corner. He's just caught the inside of Russell there, who compromised the entry of his own corner, and then Russell spewed over onto the left after multiple contacts and taken out a couple of drivers along the way, including returning series champion Luke Whitten.
Yeah, I saw Luke get caught up in that in the replay, so bad luck for him, but he was starting pretty deep, and that's what we were saying. It could have been an interesting night. Jason Willman has joined the race. He's in 17th at the moment, but all up front, it's Enzo Cantor, then Tim Gaukridger, Bart Martinovic just trying to hang on to the top three here.
Yeah, exactly right. Great to see Tim Gaukridger, leading Australian driver here tonight so far. He's had great pace really coming on in the last couple of seasons now, getting his chance to go against some of the best in the world. Enzo Cantor, of course, won this series 3 times. He's won the official season overall a couple of times as well. Certainly right up there on the world stage. Also pleasing to see Dennis Johansson, after qualifying only 8th, Bernie, he's now up 2 positions already after just the first lap. He's on his way now to make another position as he crosses the line into turn 1, up to 5th already, Bernie.
Yeah, we're looking through the rear suspension of his there. You can just see how much it works, all these bumps that the car has to absorb, but as you said, up to 5th already and moving forward at a great pace.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he just managed to botch quali a bit and he's got the pace to catch up here, because bridging the gap here in a tight that's so a circuit that's so tight in terms of times is really a measure of the quality of a driver. He runs very wide, nearly collecting the wall as they go through the uphill section now, down through to turn 6, setting up the final corner onto the main straight, which is very, very important corner, Bernie. It's the longest straight, and that's always the most important corner that leads onto the longest straight. It's also your best passing opportunity, Bernie. He's now within 6/10 of Vince Browning, who's doing fantastically well in P4 with a fast-charging Dennis Johansson hot on his heels, Bernie.
Yeah, and we just saw Håkon Grebstad. He's in 9th at the moment on our track camera. He was so wide, he actually went to the right of the camera and disappeared from view. I was waiting to hear a bang as he hit the fence, but he's brought it back on now. But it shows the pace of the race tonight, folks. Håkon is pretty much pushing it, and he's still trying to get on the back of this train.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. He's sitting in behind Daryl Ridley by the looks. Another local driver, and Daryl Ridley, fantastic seeing him doing well in P8 there. Bernie, he's got fantastic pace, just doesn't quite grab the results often that his pace could bring him. Håkon not having the practice here this week that he would have liked, perhaps not on the pace that we would normally expect from him, but certainly a hot enough field to keep him interested as he runs wide again, Bernie.
And here goes Dennis Johansson on the inside of Vince Browning. He should do this quite easily. He does. Vince backs out early, but also right behind him is Timo Vascalampi. So all of a sudden Vince has been swamped and lost 2 positions.
Yeah, absolutely. Vince did a remarkable job in qualifying in 4th, Bernie, and some of the quality now starting to track him down and chase him down throughout the race, Bernie, but he's shown he's got the pace. It's interesting to see if he can stick with these top runners, Bernie.
Yeah, now that's allowed Håkon Grebstad to get on the back of this train. The top 9 are pretty much in this train now as Håkon runs wide. He's trying to get up onto Daryl Ridley here to make a move. And I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a slingshot once we get onto the straight down here.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. It'll be interesting to see this pack of half a dozen cars here, led by Dennis Johansson. Now, look at them all running wide on exit, trying to make every bit of use of the track and more, Bernie, as the front 3 now going 2x2 here. Enzo and Tim Gorkrocher. Tim Gorkrocher forced very, very wide, 2x2 through the second corner there, Bernie. Can Tim get it done around the outside, forcing Enzo to go wide now around turn 3? As they head into turn 4, they're still 2x2, Bernie. They're doing a fantastic job, and Enzo looks like he might hang on here. Can they go 2x2 up the no-name straight, Bernie? This corner in the uphill section is diabolical. Will one of them back out? No, Tim left out to dry a little bit by Enzo, and they might now, only just after doing most of that 2x2, fall into line, Bernie.
That's allowed to Bart to close right in on them. Tell you what, I held my breath because 2x2 I was waiting for the contact. There was nearly contact between the 2 of them, and when you said will they back out, I thought, well, Enzo won't. So Tim's going to have to yield.
Well, they're doing it again, Bertie. Enzo, we know he'll go defensive when he's in the lead here around this track. He did it last season or the season before, the rear of his car really stepping out. Tim thinking better of it and leaving him room to go through there, Bernie. If he hadn't, it would have been over for the both of them. Really smart driving there. What it is doing, though, Bernie, all the while, Dennis Johansson now just 1.2 seconds behind. Very, very close to having the draft here, Bernie. All that racing up front has dropped nearly a second off of this gap, Bernie, and Dennis Johansson. I think we can start playing the Jaws theme now, can we, Bertie? Because he's certainly tracking them down.
Yeah, and Håkon Grebstad, he's moved up to 8th and dropped Daryl Ridley off the back at the moment. Ian Lake also having a great run in 7th. So, yeah, start the Jaws music, folks, because Dennis is on the march. But I tell you what, Timu's following him, as we can see. Håkon, again, he loves that wide exit. He puts all 4 wheels out in the dirt and somehow controls it. But here comes Timu on the inside. Dennis defends and holds him off.
Yeah, Tim will know very well that Dennis has got the pace, if anyone, to bridge this gap. Perhaps if they're not going to work together, he'll just sit in behind and see how long it takes Dennis to get on the back. They're on lap 8 now. The 2 up front in Enzo Kander and Tim Gorkrocher, they went 2x2 briefly, but perhaps Tim, recognising the fact that Enzo is not going to yield anytime soon after that previous lap that we saw, realised how much time they were losing. And excuse me, in the last lap, they've really maintained that gap, Bernie. So Dennis is now 1.3 seconds behind, and if anything, they gained a tenth by not battling. So now 1.4 seconds as Dennis rounds the final corner at the end of lap 8. Bernie, it's interesting to see what the front runners do.
Yeah, and Hakon kept it all four wheels on the black stuff this time through, so he's feeling comfortable. Here comes Timu, but he's going to have to do better than that because Dennis defends. And I noticed earlier when Dennis felt a bit vulnerable with Timu, he actually took to the left side to make sure that Timu would have to go the long way. And again, Timu's got the flying face on the side of his car.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, Dennis is a race driver instructor, a real life racing instructor. He also does practice laps, and I was talking to him recently. He did a test drive in a prototype car for a new potential race car to come on the market. He's got a lot of on-track experience. He's also got a really high race IQ, so he knows where to position his car and how to make it wide and fast at the same time. So no doubt in his own mind is again as they tail out on the end of lap 9 of 25 now, Bernie, he's actually lost another tenth. So he'll be realising that this battling is causing them or doing them no favours, I should say, in catching the front group, and he'll be anxious to get on as soon as he can.
Yeah, and Tim Gaukrich had a look on the outside once again of Enzo. Enzo defended off. They went too wide into turn 1. Tim's backed out now and sitting back behind him again, and Bart is right behind them.
Yeah, really surprised to see them still battling, and yet they're still making time because Dennis and his group have dropped a further tenth behind, now 1.5 seconds behind. So all that good work that they've done has come a little bit unstuck, perhaps through their own design. I know if I was in Timu's shoes, I'd be sticking on the coattails of Dennis and seeing how far we could get forward, because I've done that in the past and it's worked very well for me. But obviously Timu looking to make a race of it, putting pressure on Dennis, but Dennis has got a really cool head, so it'll be interesting to see how the two, the Scandinavian and the Finn, play off against each other, Ben.
Yeah, well, Dennis is going wide this time. He's really letting Timu through. He's, he made that very easy. I'd say he doesn't want to fight this. He wants Timu to take the pace and see if they can make this gap.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Timu running wide there on the exit of turn 2 as they approach into turn 3 now. Two wheels on the grass there, they're slowing the car down considerably. Again, they've lost another tenth. They're now 1.7 seconds behind. It'll be interesting to see how patient Dennis is and how long he'll wait for Timu to see whether or not he can bridge that gap, Bernie.
Yeah, we can see here Hakon's in 7th, Vince Browning's right behind him, and he's just making a move now. On the inside they go too wide, up across the top. I don't know what the name of that corner is. I'll call it up across the top.
Yeah, that's called the West Bend, Bernie. Oh, I'll tell you what, Ian Lake it was that made that move stick, and I know that'll Hawkon will have steam coming out of his ears at that point, Bernie. I didn't catch his run up the uphill down into West Bend there, Bernie, but if he'd had a decent run, that's really not where you want to pass it. And you can see that now that they've dropped with Ian at the head of that pack of 3, Bernie. They've dropped to nearly 2 seconds behind where they were previously, and Vince Browning be grinning from ear to ear as he tucks on the back of Dennis Johansson and Timo Vascolampi, Benny.
Yeah, and we look at the top 10 at the moment, folks. As we know, Enzo Cantor's leading Tim in second, Bart third. Now, the interesting thing is Dennis Johansson actually dropped 1/10 last lap, so he's 2.118 seconds from Bart, but 2.75 seconds from the lead. He's battling here with Timo Vascolampi, Vince Browning. He's keeping on the back of these guys, doing a fantastic job there. Then we've got Ian Lake, followed by Darryl Ridley, and Hakon is, he's sort of dropped off the back there. Then Johan, I haven't heard of Johan before, but he's having a great battle back here in 10th position.
Yeah, he's with one of our old favourites, Carlos Sorrentes, now in P11 with Mick Gray, the great young Mick Gray sitting there in P12, Bernie. He's up 6 positions, showing what a good head on young shoulders will do, Bernie, and he's looking to make a great fist of this race, as he often does. And again, behind him you've got Luke Page, Alex John tucking behind. Oh, who did we lose there? Looks like we've lost Darryl Ridley on the outside of turn 4, Bernie.
Yeah, I can see him just limping back onto the circuit. We'll go back and have a look at that replay. It looks like he's got loose in probably turn 3 there by the looks of it. I don't think there was any contact.
No, no, it looks like Ian Lakes just got into the rear of him as they went through turn 3. Ian making a couple of bold moves in the last couple of laps, one on Hawkon through the uphill or west bend, and then through turn 3 here again, just misjudging and turning Darrell to the outside of the track in the runoff there. That's very costly for Darrell, Bernie.
Yeah, it certainly is, but he kept it off the wall, so it's less costly than what it could have been. But meanwhile, up front, the battle continues, and it's quite interesting. If we look at Timu now, he has dropped from the front now 3.328 seconds. He's off the lead, so they've lost a good 0.6 of a second, and that's not what Dennis is going to want to see. He is hoping, I think, that Timu would have the pace to keep up with the top 3, but clearly he does not at this point.
No, well, we're just, Dennis, really good, great car control there as Timu got a poor run out of the final corner, Bernie. Not to run into the rear of him. Yeah, you're right. I mean, they're now 0.3 off the back of the leading pack. We're a bit over half race distance with just over 10 laps to go now, Bernie. These guys will be... Well, Dennis will still think he's got a chance to get on the back, Bernie, but with every lap that ticks by in this 25-lap race, that chance will become dimmer and dimmer.
Yeah, well, I think that's why he's made that move on Timu now. He's gone, okay, well, you don't have the pace to grab them. Give me a chance. Timu's happily said go for it and hasn't really contested it. So these 3 are doing their utmost best to catch the top 3. But I think their only hope of catching them at the moment is these 3 have to start battling again and allow the other 3 to pull them up.
Yeah, 100% right there, Bernie. Really impressed with Vince Browning. He's racing a really smart race. He saw these 2 really fast drivers come up behind, let him through and content to sit on the back and see what they can do as again. They're 2x2 up the front there, Bernie. Enzo forcing Tim Gorkrocher to the outside of turn 1, and Tim tucks in by the end of turn 2, gets the rear left on the dirt there, Bernie, on the outside of the ripple strip as now they tighten up for turn 3 around into turn 4 as they head up the no-name straight on lap 16, Bernie.
Yeah, and Hakon Grebstad, Ian Lake, they're still battling it out for 7th and 8th by themselves. Then we've got Johan, Carlos and Mick Gray there in the next battle pack. And if we go further back, we've got Luke Page back here battling Darrell Ridley, and Pet Mayer is the last one on this battle pack back in 16th.
Yeah, well, there's a pack of 5 there, all fighting out in this tail end of the field here, Bernie. It's amazing to see that the battles rage on. Doesn't matter where you are in the field, you want to be in front of the guy in front of you, and this track can make for really close racing all the way back down here, Bernie, and each one of them trying to salvage what they can out of the race. We've still got that battle between Hawkon and Ian Lake raging on as they head through turn 1 and 2. Now they're going 2 wide again. Looks like Ian might actually get it done around the outside now, setting himself up for the inside run through turn 3. Really tough to make that work, Bernie, as he loses. He meant to compromise there onto turn 4. He loses the run onto the no-name straight. Looks like Hawkon's got a great run, and they're thinking about going 2x2 again, but having experienced that a bit earlier, I'd suggest Hawkon backs out of that and tucks in behind, Bernie.
Yeah, he does, but an awesome move there by Ian Lake. We don't see that work that often, but it did this time. Looking at the gap at the moment, folks, we've got Enzo Kander, the top 3, still battling it out. Now, Dennis Johansson, all 4 wheels off the ground. Let's see if he's actually closed this gap as he goes across. No, he hasn't. Another 1/10 of a second down.
Yeah, look, it was outside 3 seconds at one stage off the back of Bart Martinovic in P3, Bertie. It's just under there at 2.9 at the moment. We're on lap 18, balance of 8 laps remaining to round out the 25. The front 3 look to have this race well and truly by the scruff of the neck, Bernie. It'll just be interesting to see if Bart decides to throw his hat into the ring towards the end of this race, although he really looks like he's struggling to hang on at the moment. He's about 4 to 5 tenths behind, which is still well and truly in the draft, but just indicates that he might be struggling a little bit, whereas Tim Gorkrocher is sitting more like about 3 tenths, and he's really having a crack each and every lap into turn 1, forcing Enzo to take the defensive line for risk of losing the position. Again, we see Enzo park his car in the middle of the track, not feeling threatened this time, so goes back over to the left-hand side and waits for the attack next lap, Bernie.
Yeah, he's feeling comfortable out there. But one thing I'm very happy to report, folks, is it looks like Enzo's family feud with his little brother might be over. We'll have to ask him when he comes up, but his little brother looks like he's cooperating tonight.
Yeah, that's very much so. The viewers at home may remember that we spoke to Enzo about his new equipment a couple of seasons back, and he described his battle with his new brake pedal as being like a fight with his little brother. But interesting thing about this circuit, Bernie, is lots been said. You barely touch the brake pedal here. In fact, some guys have done laps around here without using the brake pedal and managed to be less than 2 seconds off the top pace. So I'd suggest that he's doing fantastically well here, fighting with his little brother or not, because he doesn't have to get in the ring with him too often, as Tim Gorkocher once again forces him to take a defensive line into turn 1 as they head around on the start of lap 20, Bernie.
Yeah, and we're having a look back here at the battle between Timu and Vince and Dennis here. Vince is looking really racy back here. He's doing an awesome job hanging on to these two, and if anything, he's looking like he wants to make a few positions up.
Yeah, absolutely, Bernie. These three are the second battle pack, of course, and really trying to make what they can of what's left of this race. They're not going to get up the front, but they can get up the front of their own pack. Interestingly, the guys that were racing with them, Ian Lake and Håkon Grebstad, again, they're going too wide up the back of the no-name straight there as they head through to the uphill section. Now they go. Håkon tucks in behind to go single file again. But the battling they're doing, Bernie, they were right on back of that pack before. They're now 8 seconds behind in no time at all. You're talking maybe half a dozen laps. It just goes to show that if you're willing to be patient and stick on the back and take your turn in line, you can really be competitive at the end. Whereas if you're going to battle throughout, that's where you're going to end up, Bernie.
Yeah, well, exactly right, and that's why I think we haven't seen a lot of battling in this second three pack. They're doing everything they possibly can to try to catch them, but it's not working out for Dennis tonight. He's now 4 seconds off the lead, and a good 2.1 seconds, I think, off Bart's rear end.
Yeah, look, he's caught up. Oh, Enzo, he got a premature wiggle there out of the uphill section, Bernie, as they head through West Bend now. Tail end of lap 21 now. It's really giving Tim a good look at the rear of Enzo's car, but of course there's no safe passing through there, Bernie, and he's actually missed his run onto the main straight here, so there won't be any passing opportunity here. But you know what? They've dropped Bart Martinovic. I don't know if Bart... Well, I suggested he might be struggling to hang on, and it looks like that was the case, but he might have made a little mistake here or there. And the fact that Tim and Enzo weren't battling means they've been able to pull away and secure the top, probably, most likely, I should say, the top 2 steps on the podium.
Yeah, so the question I've got for you here, Alex, and it's not a curly question. If Dennis, Timu and Vince are slipstreaming each other, Bart's out on his own, will he now fall back to those three behind him?
Potentially. Dennis is lightning fast. He's still... And Bart's just out of the draft now, 1.3 seconds behind. What's the gap there? 2.2 and ever closing. Look, there's 3 laps to go as they cross this line here. I'd be surprised if Dennis was a second a lap quicker, but he might get within draft range. It's going to be a close one, but I'd say Bart's got the running at this stage, Bernie.
Yeah, so looking at that live gap now, it's down to 2.1 seconds between Bart and Dennis Johansson.
Yeah, well, look, so the previous lap, Bart did a 56.8 and Dennis did a 56.4. So there's 4 tenths a lap there. But look at that gap close. You can visibly see it close, corner by corner, Bernie. It's now down to 1.8 seconds. And Dennis got a great run onto the no-name straight there. Bart himself is nearly 2 seconds off that lead pack and falling ominously into the clutches of Dennis as we speak.
Yeah, Dennis is doing absolutely everything he can, and meanwhile Timu's following him, but they've in turn dropped Vince Browning off now, off the back, so it's down to 2 battle packs of 2. Up the front we have Enzo Canna defending from Tim Gaukricher again. They're coming up to lap traffic, but they go too wide. Tim tucks back in behind Enzo, and it's going to be interesting to see what they do when they get up to this lap traffic. It's number 8, and that's Kevin Henderson. I didn't think he was out there tonight.
Yeah, he was out there. He started quite well in the field. I didn't see what happened to Kevin, but he's languishing now down in P19. But it was interesting to see there. Tim Gorkrocher tried the cut back onto the inside line through turn 2 after being forced again or forcing Enzo to defend through turn 1, Bernie. Both of them getting very loose through the uphill section there. Oh, he's poked the nose up the inside of the West Bend. That might have cost him the race there, Bernie. It's a very precarious position to have a look. And he's now 4 tenths behind. He won't get a shot here into the final run into turn 1, Bernie, and that might have very well cost him the race.
Well, there's 2 laps remaining here, so he's got time to recover and catch back up on the back, which is what he's doing now. So I think he's still in with a chance here, Alex.
Yeah, look, I think the white flag just came out, Bernie. I'm seeing final lap at the moment. His best passing opportunity was into turn 1. He's missed that by having a look into the West Bend the previous lap. His job now will be to get into the toe, see what he can make of that final corner run. It is possible to draft past by the line here, Bernie, but it's a tough ask.
Yeah, well, we've seen this time and time again that with Enzo Cantor, you can try to draft to the line, but it's not going to work because he's darn quick as he comes down the final corner. We'll jump on board so you can see exactly what I mean, and there's no stopping Enzo tonight. We might even see the wiggle come out, and yeah, a little bit of a wiggle. He's confident, and Tim's backed right off when he saw that.
Yeah, absolutely he did. Dennis Johansson now grabbing P4 after Barton Martinovic managed to hang on. Whoa, he's pulled up very sharp, nearly copped a flying Scandinavian in the rear. But no, that was a fantastic effort there as the stragglers now start to finish their race, Bertie.
Yeah, and Ian Lake held on to Hakon Grebstad there, and as we come through, you can see now Carlos Sorrentes, Mick Gray, 3 wide here. Darryl Ridley having a look, he's backed out of it, but Mick Gray, I'm not sure if he got him or not. No, he didn't.
No, Mick Gray just finishing in just behind Carlos Sorrentes, Darryl Ridley close behind as well. Jason Willman up 8 positions, Bernie, putting his hand up strongly for the biggest mover in the field, Bernie. Like I said, he doesn't mind starting from the rear and making his way through. He manages to grab some points and I-rating along the way, Bernie.
You can see Kevin now coming through, and tell you what, we do not need fireworks when the skippies are around because they let their engines detonate, and that often leads to a lot of entertainment, doesn't it?
It does, and particularly when it catches you by surprise. But what an action-packed race that was, Bernie. I was surprised to see, as we said, Dennis Johansson so far down the field, and he really had to earn his money tonight, Bertie. He fought up for those 4 positions early, made a couple very early on, but then the front pack managed to drop them, and that was it. He worked really hard with Timmy to get back on, but it ended up just battling themselves. Almost got a sniff of a podium with Bart coming back to them very rapidly at the end, but wasn't to be. The mini battle between Ian Lake and Håkon Grebstad went the way of Ian on this occasion. Quite an interesting set of circumstances amongst those two by finding Ian working for some unique opportunities, quite disruptive tactics you might say, but it ended up working well for him. Really pleased to see Vince Browning qualifying well and finishing well in P6, Bernie. Darryl Ridley fighting back to P11 after that incident with Ian Lake earlier in the night, and yeah, what a great race.
Certainly was an awesome race. We went back to the replay, Kevin Henderson here, and he lost it big time over the rear part. What do you call it, that ramp thing?
The uphill.
The uphill.
I didn't catch it, but I'm imagining he ran wide on that. It's very easy to do. The suspension becomes unweighted and can spear you off either left or right, depending on which way your wheel's pointing at the time.
Yeah, well, he actually managed to get 2 wheels up over the crash barrier there, and then he spun it across the road into the other one. So, yeah, he gets the Stuntman Award for this round, that's for sure. But let's go through our final results here, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver finished, and take note here, Alex, because I'm going to test you on who the biggest mover and shaker is at the end of this. So well done to Enzo Cantor from Italy. He takes tonight's round 1 here at Lime Rock. Tim Gaukricher, close second, followed by Bart Martinovic in third. In fourth tonight, we had Dennis Johansson from Scandinavia, followed by Timu Vaskilampi from Finland. Then we had Vince Browning, followed by Ian Lake in seventh. In eighth tonight, Hakon Grebstad, followed by Carlos Sorrentes in ninth. In 10th position was Mick Gray, just holding out Darryl Ridley in 11th. 12th position was Jason Willman. In 13th tonight was Luke Page, followed by Matthew Willett from the UK in 14th. Pep Mayer, he comes home 15th. Alex Johns 16th. Johan, he comes home in 17th, followed by Luke Whitten in 18th. Kevin Henderson 19th, and Russell Clark rounds out our field of 20.
Well, there you go, Bernie. Judging by where Kevin started and finished, unfortunately for him, despite the spectacular new livery for the season, he's down 14 spots by my calculation. Not the way last year's runner-up for this series wanted to start this season, Bernie. But you described well his exit, unfortunately. Jason Willman and Mick Gray have got what I can see is the tie for the biggest movers in up 8 spots, respectively. Really goes to show you what a high race IQ can do for you. Those two really smart in how they approach their racing, and it really served them well tonight, both up 8 spots, Bernie.
Yeah, well done. You passed the test. Now your next test is you're Italian. We've got Enzo Cantor waiting in the green room. We'll bring him up now, and I wouldn't even know where to start. I think I'll just say g'day.
Yeah, all right. Do you want to say g'day? I'll leave him with you, all right?
Oh, gee, thanks.
No worries.
G'day, Enzo. Welcome to RRTV's Combox, mate. Great to see you back and celebrating with another win here at Lime Rock.
Thank you, guys. I'm really happy to come back here. I was far away from racing from 2 or 3 months, I think. Always because I am a father now, and I have not enough time to race. So I'm very happy to got this victory again. It was not so easy at all.
Yeah, you're having a good battle there with Tim, and he was pretty much trying to work the outside, but as always at Lime Rock, you were looking comfortable out the front, dictating where you wanted Tim to pass, and of course making sure you weren't vulnerable on the inside of turn 1.
Yeah, I like this track, and also because there are not really heartbreaking point, because my little brother, and so the only scared corner for me is T1, because every time I was approaching it, I was thinking about where my car would go. But I think I'm becoming to understand my brake pedal. So yes, that was the only matter. But my goal was to defend always the inside line in T1, because it's very, very difficult to overtake on the external line. And yeah, that was my goal. I did it, and I'm very happy. I felt not comfortable at all, but I think my pace could be faster than 0.2 tenths a lap, but I'm satisfied enough.
Yeah, so looking at that race pace, to me that race pace looked pretty high. Was that your impression of tonight's race?
Sorry, I didn't understand this. Sorry.
I was just passing you over to Alex.
G'day, Enzo. Alex McKellar here, mate. Welcome back to the series. Great to have you back. Bernie was just saying the pace looked very hot out there, even though the track was cool. Fastest lap of the night seems to be by Tim in your draft there at a 56.1, which is a really fast time. Yourself with a 56.2. How are the conditions out there tonight?
The conditions are very good to race. Very much, so much grip, but generally I don't like so much this kind of weather because it's difficult to understand where is the limit of the grip, and the car loses the grip in a more brutal way. So it's difficult to go fast very near to the limit. So I think point zero could be possible with a perfect lap without draft, but I was not able to do it. Every lap I did some little mistake, and I didn't reach this goal. But yes, the pace was very fast, and team was always in my mirrors. He gave me a lot of pressure, and I think it was my fourth race of the week after many months without racing, except for 2 or 3 or 4 disaster races at Bathurst, where I lost about 900 iRating.
Oh boy. That's a big week, mate. 900's not easy to come by, so to lose it in 1 week, that's massive.
I think it was not the right track to come back on iRacing.
Well said. It's a tough track, mate. How was racing with Tim out there tonight? Tim's one of our young hard chargers. He looked like he made you work pretty hard for it tonight.
I have to say so much congratulations for Tim, because I thought there could be lag contacts between us because of the high pings. I said it in the chat before racing. I was scared every time he was near me, but he did a very good job. He was very fast and very clean. He always left me the right enough room, and he did a very nice a very nice 10th. I don't know the word, but in the penultimate lap, he put his nose in the inside in a difficult corner, and but he did it very well. He left throttle, but he could push because I left him enough room. But he said to me he preferred to finish the race without crashing. So it is a very good behavior on the track, very differently from Kimi, Seb, and Max Verstappen.
Yeah, wasn't that a bit of a race? Yeah, well, you're right. That move that he tried through the West Bend, that probably cost him any real shot. I mean, he'd had a few times through turn 1 and hadn't quite been able to manage to make that work. So he's trying something different, but no harm, no foul, as they say, mate. Well, welcome again back to the series. Great to have the wiggle back on the first week of the season, mate. Before we let you go, though, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I have to say thanks as always to my team, Mivano Racing, my teammate Fabio Mantellini, Maria Concetta for logistics, and all my sponsors, Transmaster, Tyrell, Cube, and all the other. Let me say the last thing. In the penultimate lap, he had to do a difficult choice, because I did a little mistake in the previous corner and I lost so much speed. So I think he managed to do the right thing. But in the moment in which he was putting his nose in the inside, he changed his intention and did the right thing, preferring to finish the race without crashing. So very nice behavior, and it was not so easy to change idea in that way, losing the chance for the victory, but choosing to finish in second place losing chances. So I'm very impressed from team behavior on the track.
Excellent. Thanks, Enzo, mate. Once again, great to have you back. Great racing out there with Tim tonight, and hopefully we can see you for a few more rounds here during the season.
I hope. I wish. I asked to my wife to let me again some time to race for this season 4 of the year, because this is the last season, and I hope to race every weekend to be again competitive with the best driver in the world.
Excellent, mate. Well, we look forward to seeing you later on the season, and thanks again for joining us.
Thank you again for this broadcast. So very nice work.
So, folks, that was Enzo Cantor, tonight's winner of round 1 of Skip Barber Monday Lights for season 4. And Alex, next week, mate, we're off to Silverstone National. So the track that I get lost at, hopefully all the other guys won't, but I'm the only racing driver in the world that gets on a racetrack, folks, and actually does get lost.
Well, it's funny too. It's a really short configuration, but it's not. The track doesn't go where you're expected to go. We had the short layout, what I thought was the shortest layout last season of Silverstone, but they managed to find the national one, which is even shorter. So 22 laps around there, not quite the same number as here, but a similar distance. So it'll be interesting to see. Silverstone's a bit of fun to drive around. They've got the old layout, of course, there, which many of the enthusiasts prefer. So it'll be interesting to see and what sort of lineup we get, and hopefully we can keep going from strength to strength.
Yeah, definitely. We had an awesome lineup again tonight, and a few new names popping up in there, which is always excellent, and it's always great to see the guys. Looking later on in the week, folks, Wednesday night we've got the Wankel Australia-New Zealand Championship, starting at 8:15 p.m. GMT plus 10, so check your local time zone for that, and that's a new series, Alex, that is looking very exciting. Fixed setup series. You can just drop in, have a race, drop out, and it's quite an entertaining series.
Absolutely. I love my open wheel races. Love the Pro Mazda Bernie. The Pro Mazda, of course, a step up from the entry-level Skip Barber cars. Faster car, more downforce, slick tyres. Great way to get involved in another category, a fixed series, a privately run series. So a lot of respect out on track. Great bunch of guys. I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, I'll get a run out there on Wednesday night. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you out there as well, so make sure you turn up. Luke Emerton will be joining me to call that race. And then Thursday night, folks, if you like your NASCAR action, join us for NSCAR Thursday night Thunder Truck Series. Round 3, we're off to Iowa Speedway, and that is another awesome series. They get the best truck drivers into that series in Australia, New Zealand, and they had an awesome race there last week. I'll have Wei Han Chan back fresh from China to help call that race. And then, of course, Alex, hopefully you'll join me next Saturday night for the world's fastest game round 2. We're off to Circuit of the Americas, and that kicks off at 8 p.m. GMT plus 10.
Yeah, what a series that is. The opportunity for someone out there in iRacing land to compete for a job with the McLaren Formula One team as a test driver on their simulator. What an opportunity that is. Circuit of the Americas, really tough track. I've driven an F1 around there in iRacing, and it's really tough. So it'll be interesting to see what the guys make of that one.
Yeah, it certainly will be. And, of course, folks, we'll give you an update on who's leading that championship on Saturday night. It's out of 4 rounds. The winner of the 4-round season will get a place in the World's Fastest Gamer finals. So there's a lot to play for in that season.
Yeah, 100%. We were talking about it the other night in the first round there. Imagine rocking up every day to work for McLaren Formula One and getting to drive a simulator for an F1 team. What an amazing opportunity, Benny. What more can I say?
Oh, not much, because it's nearly the end of the night. But anyway, folks, that's our coverage tonight of the Monday night Skip Barber skip Barber Monday Lights, I nearly said world fastest gamer, here from Lime Rock. Hope you've enjoyed it wherever you've coming from, whether you joined us on iRacing Live or on our YouTube channel. We appreciate your company. Hopefully we'll see you back Wednesday night, but if we don't, have a good safe work week, and hopefully we'll have your company very shortly. But until then, on behalf of Alex McCullough, I'm Bernie Weemers, and good night from us.